Okay, we'll start with the wheels. Main thing is just to look, make sure the wheel bolts are all there. Tyres, the rubber on the wheels, just make sure there's no chunks missing out of these treads. It can cause a stability problem if it is large enough. We move along to this tray here. It's just a matter of clicking it open, opening it up. This is where it all happens on the machine. You have your hydraulics and control valves, etc. Just have a nosy, make sure everything looks in place. Looking for possible electrical plugs come loose, oil leaks, that sort of thing. They're usually very clean in here, so you'll pick up an oil leak without any issue. Quick look under here. There's switches in here as well. Just make sure they're in place and attached. We'll shut the door. You have your hour meter there, and this little box here is just a machine diagnostic screen, basically. It'll bring up any fault codes. Again, you got your front wheel. Check your tread and your wheel bolts. Have a quick look under here. You're looking at the steering linkage. Make sure all the bolts and pins and what have you that hold it all together are there. Anything that doesn't look right, report it. Up here you've got your ground control station. You've got your master key here basically, which is either your platform control or your ground control. You've got a lift up and down switch, circuit breaker, emergency stop switch. In a case of an accident or machine failure or something, hit that, everything will shut down, and that's it, machine's dead. If you need to bring someone down for whatever occurrence when the machine is up in the air, this is your emergency lower system. Just pull that out and the machine, the scissor stack will come down. Just an explanation on some of the decals and plates on this side of the machine. This is a higher access internal information on the machine itself. It gives the machine plant number, etc. The barcodes are in-house information. This QR code, it gives you service history and maintenance, machine specifications, etc. And there's also a operator's manual downloaded into that. So if you can scan that, it'll give you whatever information you need to know the history of this machine. Moving along to the logbook, I'm sure you people are all familiar with these things by now. These are for the operators to fill in daily, and also when machine servicing is done, higher access must fill these in. Down to this plate here, this is a commissioning plate, compliance plate from the factory. It gives you all serial numbers, dates of manufacture, that sort of thing, safe working loads, machine tear weight, tilt angles, etc. So you can always just refer back to that if you're not sure. Right, to operate this lifter from ground controls, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, emergency stop switch, pull that out, turn the key, which is in the off position at the moment, to ground control. You hear things clicking a little bit, just let it power up for a couple of seconds. And there she goes, up. Okay, easy as that. To come down, it's just a matter of that switch down. If you have to get someone down from up there for whatever reason, and machine won't respond, all you need to do is pull this little T-bar, emergency lower, comes down. Just like that. Once you're down, to shut the thing down, back to off, emergency stop in, machine shut down. Okay. Just an exclamation on a couple of the decals on the back here. You've got here your 6-month inspection certificate. It's like a warrant of fitness basically. It gives you safe working loads, number of occupants, wind speed, inspector's number and name, machine number, serial numbers, etc. With your pre-start checks, you should be citing that every day, just to make sure that the expiry dates are still within. This one here is your safe working load decal. It gives you your wind speed as well. So, example on this one, indoor rating, no wind speed. You can have 2 persons, maximum weight 320 kg. Outdoor rating, 12.5 metres a second, and you can still have a 320 kg safe working load, but the number of occupants is cut back to 1. This 186 Dingo, this is the number and name of the machine that the contractors, if they're having issues with the machine on site, give us this number and we'll know exactly what machine you've got. Just make sure your flashing light is going. You need to have a flashing light or a motion alarm, either or either, but if it's there it should be working. In this compartment you have the batteries. You have a charger plug here, so you just plug your mains charger and mains cord into that. You have an electrical certificate here. It gives you machine number, who did it, and the dates of when it was issued and when it expires. So that needs to be looked at for your pre-starts. You've got your charger here, there's lights there. If you wish to know about that, refer to the operator's manual. This button here, this is a battery isolation switch. End of the shift, or the machine's going to be parked up for a long time, just pop that in. It'll kill all power to the machine. Okay, inside the battery box, just have a look in here, as per the other side. You've got 4 batteries. These need to be checked, once a week sort of a thing. You should be wearing safety glasses when you're taking these caps off, because acid can flick up off the bottom of the caps. The fluid should be about 20 ml below the top of the cap. Check for corrosion around the terminals and cables. Just make sure they're tight. Just an explanation on this decal here. It's called a wheel loading decal. At any time, there could be, as this one says, 1050 kg at any time on this wheel, or any of the other 3 wheels. So for the fellas working on slabs, up on second stories, what have you, this is an important thing to be aware of. Okay, after you've finished looking over the chassis section and you're happy with that, put the scissor stack up in the air a bit so you can look inside and see what's going on. Make sure you put your safety prop in for any servicing, or if you have to reach inside the scissor stack. Okay, what I'm looking at here, bolts, make sure the nuts are there, they're all in place. These things up here, the pin keepers, they hold the hydraulic cylinder main pins in place. Make sure they're there. There's 4 on this particular model, some machines only have 2. Hydraulic cylinders, there's 2, 1, 2. Make sure they're not dribbling oil everywhere and they're nice and dry and clean. Moving along to the centre of the stack, have a look in here. There's a circlip that holds the other end of this pin in here. Make sure they're there. That's the only thing that holds this pin in place. Look at the cables, make sure they're all good. There are hydraulic cables running up here as well, plus electrical cables. Just look at them. Stand back and have a look at the arms. Make sure the arms are straight, no bends in them, no obvious damage, that sort of thing. I don't expect you to be looking for cracks and what have you, but just look for some things that just don't look right. If in doubt, go and seek correct advice. Right, let's have a look at the rails, platform. This machine has fold down rails that will allow it to go through a low doorway or something, and they have bolts and pins and clips and things that everything pivots and locks together. You need to make sure that these are in place. If they're not in place, this whole front section could tip forward. There's bolts all the way along. Look at the state of the welds along the rails. what condition are the rails in? Are they bent, cracked? We're not too worried about small bends in the rails, but if you've got a rail that's bent down here like this, then it becomes a safety issue and we need to get it repaired and rectified. Just be aware. Up here, operator's manual, up in the corner there by the control box, you've got like a danger decal. Tells you a few do's and don'ts about what you should be doing on site and not doing. This also has a slide out deck on it, which has a lock, but we'll look at that later. The gate, that needs to be self-closing. So the hinges and the springs on the hinges need to be good. So the thing automatically shuts. So it can't swing open, you can accidentally wander off the back end. Okay, we're up on the platform now. You've already had a nosy at the rails from underneath, basically. Just have a look at them from the top end. Just run your eye around. You've got the clips in each corner again, bolts, the gate, make sure that looks okay from the top side. This machine is fitted with a extension deck, which is just a matter of placing your foot on the extension lock and push it along. It'll automatically lock into place once you've taken your foot off, and you can go all the way out if you so desire. Now, the safe working load on this extension deck itself is slightly different to the main deck. The maximum weight on this extension is 113 kgs. That includes the operator for this particular model. Some machines may be different, so just be aware. Operator's control box, control manual. You've got a manual in here. If you're not sure about an operation or something, have a look. Let's make sure this platform lifter operates correctly. So we're just going to run it from the operator's station here. You have an emergency stop switch here. If anything happens, you panic or something, just hit it. Everything shuts down. To repower, reboot, pull the button out. It'll go through a brief diagnostic, and then it'll bring up 6 bars, which are battery condition. Okay, we have four buttons on this pad. You've got scissor, up and down select. You've got drive select, drive turtle select, and you've also got a horn. Up here, you've got your joystick. There's a dead man switch on the front there, so if that's not depressed, it won't work. So that has to be checked. Okay, so on the top here, steering switch, forward, reverse. We've got a horn works, that's good. Okay, go for the drive. That's fine. Steering's working nicely. We've got forward drive, that's good as. Okay, select lift. Push it forward, up we go. Okay. Just make sure when these lifters are up in the air, the drive drops into a creep mode, so you're not roaring around flat out. So we just want to make sure that works. Okay. Yep, that is nice and slow. That would be normal elevated drive speed. Come back down, we'll select lift again, and just pull the joystick back. Just like that. Any issues or you're not sure about anything, get some advice on how the thing operates. Done. Okay, logbooks. Let's have a look at them. Righty-ho. You guys should be familiar with these things. They should be filled in daily. In the front cover here, you've got owner of the machine, machine number, make, model, etc., etc. You need to just check and make sure that these numbers do match up with the machine numbers. For the operator, you need to check and fill these things out every day. Date, time, person who checked it, operator's signature, operator's ticket or silver card ticket, and you also need to get it signed off by your superior. If you have any faults, move on to the book where it comes up as faults, problems, actions taken. Operators need to fill in this part of it, let the supervisor know, they'll get in contact with us. We'll come by, rectify the problem, and we'll fill in this part. For the company's own records, if we do servicing, what have you, we fill in this back piece. It's just for our own maintenance. So that needs to be done daily. On the front of the logbook, it gives you machine checks and operational procedures that you should be paying attention to, and what to look for in your pre-start checks. Put that away. This one here is just this platform safety book. It's just full of do's and don'ts, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. There is also a task analysis in the middle of the book here. If you're unsure whether you should be using a harness on this machine or not, depending on what sort of circumstances you are, what job sites you're on, just have a look at this and just go through it and see if you qualify to have a harness on. These are normally kept in the logbook pouch here, or either up in the operator's manual. If you do require a harness, we do have harnesses that we can supply for you to do the job safely.